Hey, just a little video of what I've been up to today. Trying to get this Mosin Nagant to shoot these 148 ball ammo surplus. I will show you what I was doing with it in a minute. First, I'm going to show you my 300 Winchester. It's a Tikka. Made a few minor modifications to it. The bolt handle's been changed and the shroud's been changed on this rail. And this beautiful scope. Today I was shooting at 400 meters. Oh, I also put on this muzzle brake, which really barks. Today I was shooting at 400 meters, and with this scope I can actually see my bullet holes. It's a little too late for videos, but this gun here actually shoots 150 grain Nosler Akibons amazingly well, but unfortunately 150 grain isn't going to get me where I want to go. So I'm shooting 185 grain Burger hybrids. And so far I've got them to group pretty nice. I'd like to shoot a little further, but unfortunately my regular shooting area isn't safe right now for me. Well, it's not safe for other people to be there if I'm shooting, so unfortunately I'm stuck at 400 meters. Okay, as for my Mosin, or Mosinka, I think is what the Russians call it, paid 150 bucks for it. It was on sale. In Canada, we pay way more for guns than Americans. I did a trigger job on it. I watched Iraqi 8888, or Iraqi Veteran 8888. Video on that. If you want to know anything about Mosin, he's the guy to talk. He's the guy to watch. So the only thing I never seen was anybody. Oh, also changed my sight post. Mosins generally come 0 for 300 meters. So what that means is the sight post is going to be shorter than you need if you want to get 100 meters 0, which is what I want. So I got a little bit taller sight post put in. What the Russians did, I guess, was they would drive the post up from the bottom of this. You can drift this off. Just use a little, if you ever want to take it off, just use a punch and tap it this way. Don't tap it that way. Tap it off this way, tap it back on that way. Anyways, you can see that the sight post they actually use is kind of beveled on the bottom, so it's kind of like a nail, but it gets thicker on the base so that it can't come back up, right? So they drive it in from the bottom, and then what they do is they use a file and they just file off the top until it shoots to where they want it to shoot, which is fine for military, but anybody that wants to target shoot or something, or have a little bit of better 0, like this thing shot 6 inches high at 100 meters. You want to have it so it shoots, and so that you can maybe try to use these sights they have on them. You're gonna have to get a color sight post. This one, if you measure from here, the bottom of the globe, to the top of my post, mine is 311, I believe. And that puts me on pretty close with 148 grain ball ammo, which is surplus ammo from the late 60s. So, anyways, that would be the first, one of the things you're going to need to fix if you want to shoot it. The other thing too is the trigger job, which entails this piece right here. You need to clean that up, and then you see that little square, you need to clean that up too. But I definitely recommend watching Iraqi veteran 888's video and take what he says to heart. It's easier to take metal off than to put it back on, so go slow, be careful, and don't take too much off. My trigger right now is about 4 pounds. I have a trigger gauge. When I first got this gun, it was pulling at about 14 pounds. So it basically there. I don't know if you can see this, but the other thing you'll have happen is this cocking piece here. If you have too much trigger engagement, that cocking piece will actually move up and down a little bit, and that if you get it just right and don't go too light, like 4 pounds is plenty light enough. You don't want it to basically go off without you wanting it to. So gun's cleared anyways, but okay, I'll take the foregrip off here and then I'll show you what I've been doing. I don't know how well this is going to turn out. It's pretty dark already. But anyways, you can see I got a little wire here. That's too dark. Anyways, there's some little lines on the barrel that I put on with a Sharpie. What I did, the first thing I did was I took the barrel out and I sanded this entire channel until the barrel didn't touch anywhere. So basically you float the barrel first. Make sure you give some attention to these ends as well, because they can be touching. So you can see how the stock moves very easily. It's not very stiff until you put the top piece on. But oops, moved it a little bit. Anyways, so what I just used is some wire, because I wanted something that would wrap around the barrel. And what it does, basically, see, this fits in nice. What it does is it creates a point where the barrel actually touches the stock now. And by moving this back and forth along here, you can cause the harmonic vibration that comes when you fire a bullet through the barrel. There's a shock wave that goes through the barrel, hits the muzzle, reflects back, and it's ideal that when your bullet is here, coming out the end, this is in the middle of a vibration. So basically, it's straight, right? It could be off to the side. Oops. it could be up and down, and that's what will basically spread your group out. So by putting this here, what I've done is I've created a point where the barrel touches the stock, which kind of stops that wave and causes it to reflect back. Some of it anyways. Some of it still goes to the barrel, to the muzzle. But by moving this point where it contacts the stock, you can actually tune for the bullets, for the surplus ammo, or any kind of ammo actually, for that matter. It's kind of a finicky thing. You gotta fart around a little bit, and I'm gonna get something better than this wire. This is just soldering wire. It's very easy to wrap around the barrel. That's why I'm using it right now, and then I'll get something more permanent. But I seem to have found kind of like a node where the barrel is kind of in the middle when that bullet leaves, and it's tightened the groups up. So originally this gun, the original bullets I shot through it were, I would guess they were from the 50s, maybe late 40s. They were 147 grain, and they shot about a 6-inch group at 100 meters. I got some hunting ammunition, Russian 200 grain hunting ammunition that shot much faster, and it shot a 1-inch group at 100 meters without any modification to the barrel or the stock. And the reason I'm doing this is because, well, surplus ammo is cheap, right? And you want your gun to shoot as straight as possible within the limitations of the gun and the ammunition. And then it'll shoot as good as you can shoot based on the components you're using. So I'm trying to get the gun to shoot up to my level of shooting, and I recommend, if you want to kind of dial your gun in. I tried to do it at 100 meters, but it's really hard to hold a small target at that range, so I was shooting at 50 meters, and then as it got darker tonight I've actually moved to 25 meters. But I've sunk the groups down from 6 inches at 100 meters down to about 2 inches, maybe a little bit under 2 inches at 100 meters. I'll have to measure my targets here, because I haven't measured them since I moved this around. I just shoot and then shoot a group, move it, shoot a group, move it, and every time I'd leave a little mark on the barrel. Well, there you can see it a little better there. So, anyways, I hope you find this video helpful. And the Mosin's a great gun to shoot. This one here, I cronied the bullets, and they were going between 2840 to then down as slow as about 2810. So for surplus ammo, that's not half bad. You know, it's not. It's military grade, right? So as long as you can hit a decent sized target at 100 meters, they're probably more than happy with it. So anyways, thanks again for watching the video. Sorry about making it so long. Okay, this is a bit of a messy target, but I'll try to explain it. Okay, what these circles here are 6 inches. These are 3-inch squares. I have a really hard time with iron sights trying to hold the same point of aim. That's why I went with these. Thought maybe I could line up on the bottom of them or something. That's why you notice that there's lots of bullet holes at the bottoms, right? So anyways, the first group I shot was this group here, and that was at 50 meters. I would take the best three, come up with 3/4 of an inch, which works out to be 1.5 inches minute of angle. This group here was the next group I shot, and I totally screwed it up. So actually that one isn't. Yeah, that's not correct. This is the next group I shot. This is at 50 meters also. It works out to be 2 MOA. Based on the spread, I always pick these are 4-shot groups, and I always discount any one flyer, so because nobody shoots perfect. So anyways, this group here, even though it looks really good, I had this one. This is a flyer, and one of these was the fourth one. So I took the best 3, come up with 1.5 inches. So that makes that group 5 minutes of angle, which is pretty terrible. Even though it looks really nice, it's only at 25 meters, so it's actually a pretty terrible group. The best groups I had, this was another one. This was an old hole. Same with that one, that's a old one. So anyways, out of these 4, I took the closest one. 3, which are these ones, and I come up with 1.8 inches at 25 meters. Works out to 4.5 minutes of angle. It's actually not exactly, but close enough at that range. At 100 meters is only 10.9% difference between yards and meters. It's not a big deal. Once you get out to 200, 300, 400, it starts making a bigger deal. So anyways, this is the last group I shot, and I really didn't think I did that well on it until I walked up there. And there's actually 3 holes here. So I ended up with 3/4 of an inch again. I had one flyer out here a little bit, which it's hard to say if it's the gun or if it's me. I'm gonna go with point of aim probably, because the other bullets were all grouped nicely. So I get it in 1.5 minutes of angle. Now earlier in the video, when I had my cover off my barrel, I had different marks on the barrel. These correlate to these different groups. So what I would do is I'd shoot a group, I'd move that little soldering wire that was wrapped around it a little bit, leave a mark, shoot another group, and I just continue to do that in a methodical manner until I found something that shot nice. And apparently there's 2 different spots on that barrel that shoot 1.5 inches, which for a surplus rifle shooting surplus ammunition is pretty damn decent. It's about the accuracy potential you'd expect out of any hunting rifle off the shelf, shooting factory ammunition. You know, people can make the, oh, you gotta shoot good ammo. No, you have to shoot the ammo that your gun likes to shoot. Sometimes it's not the good stuff, sometimes it's the cheap stuff. It all depends on barrel harmonics, and that's what this is all about. So, if you want to tune your Mosin or your Mosinka, fully float the barrel, sand out the forestock. Don't overdo it, but you know, give yourself some room, and then put a shim in. And I was originally just putting a shim in the bottom of the barrel, but then it come to my attention that maybe the top cover was touching the barrel somewhere too, so that's why I ended up using the soldering wire idea. It wraps around the barrel and it makes the barrel so that it's centered inside the forestock, and there's only pressure on it in one point. Anyways, if you fiddle around with it a little bit, you can actually get your gun to shoot pretty decent. So, 1.5 inches. If you could hold your point of aim at 300 meters, that's a 4.5-inch group, which will shoot a milk jug or any reasonable sized target, basically. But it comes down to holding your sights on target, knowing where to shoot, being able to see the target well enough, and also having your gun tuned, the bullets tuned to the barrel as best as you can. And that's what this is all about. So it's a rather long video. I hope I gave you guys some information here, help you out. You can do it with any surplus gun. You could do it with a hunting rifle. There's actually a device, I forget what it's called, that you can buy, and you inlet your hunting rifle barrel, and this thing sits underneath the barrel. It has a screw that runs length about, I'm going to say it's like 4 or 6 inches long, underneath your barrel, and then it has a steel rider that your barrel sits on, and you adjust that forwards and backwards, and you can actually tune your rifle to shoot any ammunition nicely. So say you want to shoot 168 grain, but your rifle doesn't like it. If you put that device in your rifle, you can tune your rifle to shoot it. It's pretty neat. Look her up on the internet. I'll try to put the name of it in the description. Anyways, thanks again for watching this, and sorry about the long video, but I hope I gave you some good information, and hopefully this doesn't turn out too blurry.